Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church in Columbia, South Carolina, where we're part of the ELCA. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. There's a story about a man named Paul who got a new car as a Christmas gift from his brother. On Christmas Eve, he came out of his office and headed over to his shiny new car, and he found a young boy, obviously poor, staring at the automobile. "Is this your car, mister?" he asked as Paul drew near. Paul nodded. "Yes, my brother gave it to me for Christmas." The boy looked astounded. "You mean it didn't cost you nothing? Your brother just gave it to you? Boy, I wish—" The boy hesitated, and Paul knew just what he was going to say. He was going to wish that he had a brother like that. But when the boy spoke, he said an incredible thing. "I wish," the boy went on, "that I could be a brother like that." That's a powerful story, one that catches us with the surprise ending. There's something beautiful about such generosity. There's something even more beautiful about such a close relationship between two people, so that the things we usually let stand in the way simply don't. That's the generous, loving, open relationship we are meant to have with each other. Unfortunately, that's not often how our relationships with others are shaped. More typically, our relationships are marked by wrongs and hurts and angry feelings. In our time together this week, let's talk about forgiveness. And to begin, I need to say that when we genuinely forgive someone, our relationships become more like what they are supposed to be than what most often is. I'd like us to look at some examples from the Bible when forgiveness happened, when relationships weren't marked by pride or self-centeredness, but rather by generosity, openness, and love. Let's start with Jacob and Esau. You may remember that Jacob and Esau were twins, but they certainly weren't identical. In fact, in many ways, they seemed about as far apart as they could be. Esau was the elder of the two, and he was a man's man. He is described as enjoying hunting and other manly pursuits, and he is big and burly and hairy. Jacob, on the other hand, spent more time helping his mother around the tents and was smooth-skinned. Esau seems to be a kind of open, upfront type of person, while Jacob was scheming, conniving, and manipulative. The two brothers couldn't have been more different. So, over the years, Jacob managed to trick his brother out of just about everything. Let's look at just a list of Jacob's crimes against Esau. The eldest son, in this case Esau, got the lion's share of the inheritance. And on this day, and one day, when Esau came in from hunting, he was famished and was so hungry that he gave Jacob his birthright for a bowl of stew. Then, when their father was getting old and could hardly see, Jacob knew that he would soon die and wanted to give a blessing to his preferred son, and that would be Esau. Such blessings were powerful and were considered real in those days. However, Jacob, with the help of his mother, put animal skins on his arms and fooled Isaac into giving the blessing to Jacob instead. So at this point, Jacob had Esau's birthright, inheritance, and their father's blessing. As you might imagine, Esau was furious and vowed to kill Jacob, and Jacob fled. Many years pass, and finally Jacob knows it's time for him to return home. By now he has 2 wives, many sons, and large herds, but he's still a scoundrel. He comes to a river near his home and takes the wife he doesn't care much about and all her children and places them about a mile on the other side of the river so that if Esau comes and attacks, he might hear the noise and get away. Then He takes the wife he cares for deeply and puts her just on the other side of the river, along with her children, so that if he doesn't hear Esau's attack on the first wife, he will certainly hear the one on the second wife. Then Jacob himself spends the night alone on his own side of the river. This is not a man to admire. But when Esau and Jacob do finally meet up, we have the surprise. All is forgiven. While Jacob has been away, Esau has also prospered, and all those things that had been stolen from him don't really matter anymore. Esau forgives in a way that invites us to say, I wish I could be a brother like that. In the time since Jacob left and returned, Esau had learned that relationship is more important than stuff. Not letting things stand between them was more important than wounded pride. To forgive someone is to be honest and say, you hurt me, but I'm not going to let that stand between us anymore. It is generous and open and loving. In the Bible, it's clear that God's promise moves through the line of Jacob, but maybe we can hold up Esau as a hero too. When he had no reason to, Esau forgave and loved his brother. In the midst of our hurts, in the midst of our wounded pride, dare we do the same? Thanks for sharing these moments with me, and remember to let this day belong to God.